What's going on, geezer? What's going on, geezer? I feel like I'm back in Essex, man. Oh Jesus! Like I'm back in Essex. Fucking hell! It's been ages since I've been to Harlow. That's where I'm from. Fucking hell! It's been ages. But anyway, I don't know why I started off with that. I guess it was a cool intro. I don't know. Who knows? That's actually become one of my favourite words these days. I don't know. And you know what's really funny? As a kid, I used to say I don't know a lot as well. I was very curious as a child. I always wanted to know everything. I wanted to know how this works. What is this? What is that? What is this? I was infatuated with understanding the external world and seeing how it works. Just fascinated. And not in a technical fashion either. Like, I didn't like getting my hands stuck in and like being all practical and shit. That would be beneficial. No, I just wanted to understand. Wanted to know. You know, how to figure it out. How does this work? And I always used to... I don't know how I learned things. I mean, I know there was always a passion for it. There was always a feeling, a passion. But I don't know how I actually learned or became proficient at anything that I ever have become proficient at. There's just a guiding force, which I don't know what it is. I can call it intuition. I don't know. Is it intuition or is it God? I don't know what it is. Or is it luck? Who the fuck knows? But there's this energy which you tap into and it just does the work for you. And you know how I communicate with this energy? I use the word I don't know. And you know what's so funny? Mr. Socrates was the guy that taught me this. Because Socrates, strangely enough, every time he was involved in a dialogue, like someone came up to him asking him a question like, "Hey Mr. Socrates, what's the meaning of life?" "You're so wise." I don't know why I'm using the accent. I don't think they spoke in a Cockney accent back in Athens before Christ. But yeah, in my head, it's a geezer with a Cockney accent coming up to Mr. Socrates. And he said, "Hey geezer, what's the meaning of life, mate?" And then Socrates is like, "Well, I don't know, but let's find out together." And that's what he did, and he would just ask questions, and he would try and find out himself, Mr. Socrates, what the meaning of life is, without any preconceived notion of what the meaning of life is. Your ideas that you currently have are just phantom images. They're just phenomena. They're ideas. They're ways of looking at the world, but they're so not true. They're ways of looking at the world, sure, and they can help you get by, help you walk in a kind of straight line, but you're gonna stumble still because your ideas are just that. They're just ideas. They're just words, concepts, understandings of some degree. But if you really analyze your understandings and your ideas, if you really analyze and interrogate them, you will find that there is an unsubstantial amount of evidence that supports them, and that mostly they're based on emotion, feeling, and subjective bias, and just rumination, i.e. you don't have any other ideas. You're just ruminating over this one. You're in a mind loop. You are narrow-minded. You are ignorant. This is what they mean when they use the word ignorant and narrow-minded in those books and in the Bible and in the Dhammapada. The Dhammapada actually uses the word lazy a lot. Lazy. They say the lazy will not find the way. The lazy, those who slumber and indulge in food and sleep, will not find the way. Do you know what they mean when they say lazy? They don't mean physically lazy, because no one was physically lazy back then. You couldn't really be. Everyone worked. Everyone was up all day. They lived in a different time back then. Everyone was a farmer or some sort of a physical. There was a lot of physical labor, apart from maybe the monks or the ascetics. But these guys, they still probably did physical work. But the Buddha uses the word lazy a lot. And you know what he means by lazy? He means those people who are not dedicated to watchfulness, to awareness, to vigilance. If anyone asked me my religion, sure, I would probably point towards Buddhism, but realistically speaking, it's not even Buddhism. Because when I read Buddhist sutras, like the official text, I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is not my game. The Buddha, his teachings point me in kind of a right way, but this isn't. This is just all theory knowledge, and I can find this anywhere else, and it's more biased theory knowledge. I don't need more of this. I need more simplification. So my religion, like Osho says, for example, is awareness. Watchfulness, alertness, wakefulness. These terms, these words point to a source of not knowingness, and you've got to be courageous to step into that not knowingness, where you tell yourself consciously, because you can do anything consciously. Understand, a lot of our problems come from the fact that we believe we are destined to fall into a certain pattern. We believe that this is just the way we're born, we're broken, we're stuck, and then we tell ourselves that this is going to be the way it always is. We create our own suffering. We get stuck in our own narrow-minded ideas about the world, and we trust and we put way too much emphasis on them. An inner understanding has to blossom, where you understand that the content of your mind is just screening. It's not trajectory. It's screening. It's in a state of figuring out. It doesn't have the answers. A lot of people think that they've got the answers. I sometimes think I've got the answers, but as I'm talking right now, I'm trying to point myself as well as yourself to the source of all true knowledge, and that is not words, it's not me, it's not you, it's awareness. It's something that everyone has. No one can buy this. You don't have to learn it from anyone. Everyone has consciousness. Everyone has awareness. Everyone has this. This is your birthright. You can consciously do anything that you want to do. Consciousness is freedom. Unconsciousness, believing that you are the mind, not being alert, not being aware, believing that you are the content of your head, believing that your emotions are telling you the truth about life. Believing this, you have gone back into sleep. You have become lazy. You've turned into an ignorant person. You've become... And just notice yourself. Watch yourself, man. Watch yourself and see when you become unconscious, when you lose consciousness. Look where you find joy now. Look where you try and find your sense, your pleasures or your sense of joy. Look where you go. You look to pleasures. You look to sense perceptions and sense pleasures and quick thrills, and you go back into the old cyclic existence of going towards pleasure and avoiding pain. And that's the barrenness of your existence. You're on a thread. You're always just chasing pleasure, and you're going to run away from pain. And if you can't get your pleasure, or if you don't have it around, or if you're going to start then craving it and worrying and because you're attached, right? You're attached to pleasure, and when you can't get it, or when you don't have it, or the fear of losing it is there, what happens? Fear then becomes your predominant emotion. Pain, fear of losing. Oh, this is gonna make me happy, and it's not there. This is the problem. This is the fundamental problem of our existence. Now, I don't know how to tell you to not do this, because this is just how everyone does it, and I do it, and I fall into unconsciousness without me even knowing. I'm not awake by any means. If anything, if the mind says I am awake, and by awake I don't mean woke, fuck that, that's just a bunch of bullshit. By awake I simply mean, are you watching the mind? Are you watching the content of your head? This isn't anything advanced. It's difficult for sure, because laziness kicks in. We're so used to indulging in our usual paths, usual mind paths, usual thoughts and ideas about the world, because we cling to them. We think that they are us. We think that we are our thoughts and we are our ideas, and we cling to them so much, and unconsciously we believe that we are these thoughts and feelings and ideas. We're not. A fundamental understanding a shift has to come, where you can see your mind as it is. You see how it creates suffering. Belief in the mind, belief in a thought, believing that the thought is truth, believing that a feeling is truth, believing that the story is truth, believing that I am the content of my mind and this is me and I am this, and whatever he or she says in my head is true, and it affects me, and it's controlling, it controls me. That is unconsciousness right there. If you believe, if you're suffering right now, you're unconscious. If you're in a state of pain right now, spiritual, emotional, you are unconscious. You are not conscious. Oh my god, I thought I saw some fucking gorillas there.